All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Beers by the Ivy. I got my buddy Jake back with us. Jake, what's going on? NFL draft talk today, guys. What's happening,
Guys,
Jake?
like, share, subscribe. This is truly one of the most fun things I get to do. Whenever I get to do it, whether it's every week, every month, it's just a fun time, just hanging out, talking sports, talking ball with the homies. And, it's a good time, good vibes. You don't got to worry
That's
about Skip Bayless and sexual assault cases here. Shannon Sharp and OnlyFans models. You can do what you want here.
yeah,
So
yeah, Beers by the Ivy. Literally about having a good time talking sports, themed Cubs, obviously. Wrigleyville, Cubs are playing. I went yesterday to the game. We beat the Dodgers in overtime, extra innings, as they say, and it was absolutely awesome. Oh yeah, Jake, one more thing I forgot to tell you is I got a pizza in the oven, so I may need to step out, and then you're gonna need to talk for like 2 minutes when I pull it out.
that's
I've
cool.
been busy, man. I have been busy moving and busy today. It's actually my dog's birthday. Turned 4.
Shout out to the dog, man. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
I know. It wasn't that eventful though. I kind of feel bad, but I'm going home to get my house ready before it's rented this weekend. So I figured my mom will be ready for like a birthday party for him. So like that'll be his birthday celebration.
Yeah, that'll
But
be
what are you
fun.
drinking right now? Old fashioned?
Yeah, so I pulled that I got another bottle of that Penelope that I had in my last, special appearance that I made.
Yeah.
Got some old fashions going tonight. So, orange bitters. I think it's pronounced Angostura bitters. I don't know, those words are really weird.
Gotcha.
But then the Penelope, you do a little mix, you garnish it with the orange peel and you put it on a whiskey or on an ice bowl. And
I
it's
like that.
pretty
Yeah.
good, as the kids say these days.
I'm a big dark beer guy, beers by the Ivy. I got
Mm.
peanut butter, busted knuckle, Quaffon. It's a brewery located in Indiana. They got a couple sites in Indy, but I Chicago does not have good stouts. So I have bought a year's worth of beer uh for me stout wise. So if I ever want a stout, I got exactly what I need. And dude, Chicago like
You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
they tax so the beer like liquor and beer here is so much more expensive than Indiana.
That's insane. Never would have guessed it.
Never would have.
Never
Never
would
would have.
have. Why would you?
All right, so okay. All right, so let's just keep it going here. We want to talk NFL draft. NFL draft's tomorrow. So I wanted to go team by team, which honestly gets into player by player and what we think they should do. I've made a couple of videos about draft. I didn't get to hit as heavy as I wanted to just because I was moving across states, but now is the time to talk through it. So we'll start with Titans and we'll move our way down for all the teams. Titans, I think pretty convinced everyone thinks they're gonna take Cam Ward and they're gonna take Cam Ward. That's really all I got to say about it. I think he's gonna be good. Um, I haven't done a full evaluation because honestly, I just kind of felt like it was boring to do it. I kind of like doing quarterbacks people like are on the bubble on. But so that's pretty much all I'm going to say. I'm looking forward to the kid. I didn't like how he sat out in the bowl game. I thought it was kind of weird. Other than that, though, talent's there, and he's got number one pick skill set. Which, if you're going to pick number one, you don't pick Baker Mayfield because he's not a number one pick in terms of size and speed and talent. You pick a kid who can, change the game. He can do that. Jake.
I think so when you listen to, some of the GMs around the league, a lot of the times you'll hear draft the best player available.
Yeah.
Yes, to a certain extent, I think he has to meet a need for your team. One of the big names being thrown around as a potential underdog to become the number one overall pick is Abdul Carter. The thing for the Titans, if you take Abdul Carter number one, and you line him up on the edge, he's going to be a threat, especially in the AFC South. He could wreak a lot of havoc on pretty much any of the O lines that you're going to be running him up against. But do you have faith in Will Levis here? I don't think that you can after what you've seen
Dude,
from him so far. And I know I can't talk much because I'm supporting Anthony Richardson,
I,
and he's probably, I mean, they're comparable. I think that Anthony Richardson has a higher ceiling than,
dude,
Will Levis does, but
I hate both of them, and I'm a diehard Colts fan. I mean, you're
yeah.
like a die to your death Colts fan. But I'm also, I'm lesser than you, but still. And yeah, could they pick Carter? Yes. The move would be to drop spots and pick Carter, 3 overall, and have someone come get Cam Ward. But that hasn't been a rumor at all this year.
No,
So
I actually saw something I think it was yesterday when I was scrolling through.
I gotta check
One
his
of the
pizza.
NFL Network guys was talking about how it's almost a guaranteed thing that the Titans are picking Cam Ward. Like they've came out and told Cam Ward, and Cam Ward came out and said that they're going to be taking him with the number one overall pick.
That makes sense. I gotta check his pizza. Jake, you gotta do
Yep.
the intro. Take the Browns.
Okay,
Who do you got
I'll
for the
take the Browns.
Browns?
Okay, honestly, this is a team that is so bad that you really can't go wrong with anybody that you pick here. Cleveland has been perennially bad for the last decade. Besides like 1 maybe 2 years where they had like a mysterious kind of run. I think here, assuming Abdul Carter doesn't go number one, you have to take Abdul Carter if you're the Browns. Do they need a quarterback? Yes. I don't think there's a single quarterback in this draft that's going to be worth the number two overall pick. So if you're not taking Abdul Carter for the Cleveland Browns, you're trading back with somebody who does want to take, any of the other top names. There's a couple quarterbacks I would be willing to take in the first round. Jackson Dart's one of them with a really high
Mm,
ceiling.
yep.
Came from Ole Miss.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
you also, I mean, I don't like him. I don't have a first round grade on him. I don't think a lot of NFL GMs do either. But Shadur Sanders
Hold
would
on.
be a potential quarterback, selection you could snag in the first round. But I just don't see it. If I'm the Browns, I guess lean on Flacco. You've seen what he can do. If you're a Colts fan, watching last season, really high explosive ceiling, but really, really low lows, and he makes a lot of really confusing plays. His game's not going to translate well to what the NFL is, becoming with the more mobile quarterback, having the ability to move, get around in the pocket. He's just old. That's just
Dude,
Joe Flacco in a
somehow this
nutshell.
freaking oven. Sorry, I'll have to cut that out. Somehow the freaking oven started my smoke detector.
Damn. Burn the shit out of that pizza.
It didn't even burn, dude. All right, well that was eventful. Nothing like a smart smoke detector going off when you're making a pizza. All right, for the Browns, I don't know what you said about this, but I'm going with Travis Hunter.
Oh, Travis Hunter.
I'm going with best cornerback in the draft, top five receiver in the same person. I think now if the Browns pick Abdul Carter, I will be impressed in their discipline. But I think they will end up choosing Travis Hunter, and I do think Travis Hunter will be a really solid pro, and I do think he'll be able to play both ways. So that's who I'm taking if I'm the Browns. Because they already have their edge rusher, right? They didn't trade Myles Garrett, so they got him.
Yeah, but Rob, if you follow Robert Mathis on any social medias, he says it all the time. There's arguably two of the most important positions on the field. There's quarterbacks and DNs, and honestly, not even just DNs, edge rushers in general, guys who get paid to get to the quarterback. Because what happened, that can shut the game down when you have to game plan. You think about some of the great guys, like it doesn't matter how bad the Steelers' offense is. TJ Watt, if he's playing, that defense is the threat
So you're
because
saying if you got two of those guys, like how, I mean, that'd be Mathis Freeney,
how do
right?
you game plan for both of them?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you
Yeah,
draft them.
how do
That's
you
what, so you
game
get,
plan for both of them? That's
hey man, if you got the discipline to do that and you're gonna not take a cornerback receiver star who's gonna sell a bajillion jerseys, then all the power to you. I would be happy for it, but I think they'll take Travis Hunter.
they can sell all the jerseys they want. That team is garbage. It's the mistake by the lake, dude. You know how many freaking Deshaun Watson jerseys got sold as soon as he went to the Browns?
8 billion.
I think that they have the most franchise. I think they have the most quarterbacks in the past like 25 years, like to play for their team.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
It's crazy. I love that meme that goes around every single year they pick a new quarterback where it's like,
Yeah.
it's got all the previous quarterbacks like one lined out, and it's got the new, and like to this point, it's like going down the dude's shoulder pad. You know what I mean? Like,
There's two rows now.
yeah, it's borderline embarrassing, but like, thank God I'm not a Browns fan.
Well, that's why they're gonna pick a cornerback because they have quarterback problems. That was a joke. All right, Giants now. All right, I'll go first because mine's not going to be interesting. I'm taking if the Giants are on the board. Oh, wait, hold on. Do the Giants draft Shedeur Sanders? No. If I'm the Giants, would I ta no, I'm taking Abdul Carter from the Giants.
If he's available,
Yes, if he's available. Yeah, if, like in my world, he would be available.
yeah.
Who are you
Who's their
taking?
quarterback right now? That's my big. That's
Doesn't
the big
matter.
question.
Doesn't matter because they're drafting a quarterback next year.
I just don't think that you can game, especially when you're a team like the Giants. I don't think you can game plan to be ass 2 years in a row.
I mean, it's New York. They're still gonna sell tickets. People are still gonna go there. They can handle it. I
Yeah.
mean, what if? Okay, so you pick Shurter Sanders. How good can he be in the NFL? What does he do well? He does quarterback stuff well. Like he reads, he goes through progressions pretty well. He actually had a college experience of what kind of the NFL is, which is sometimes no running game, terrible offensive line, one good receiver. So he's definitely been challenged. So we're like, Ohio State quarterbacks, for instance, aren't challenged. So you draft him cool. And he's got a little bit of pizzazz. Like he's in New York. I could see him rocking New York. He's got a little style to him.
Hmm.
But I also understand, man, you go get Carter, that's a cornerstone of your defense. And it's very much like their 2008 defense with like Tuck and the other guy, who's the Shannon, not Shannon, but he's on Fox Sports.
Michael Strahan.
Michael Strahan. I mean, there you go. I mean, that's the cornerstone of that winning team was those guys. So yeah, who are you going with though?
I think if I'm the Giants, they're at a very critical point in their franchise, especially this ownership. They passed up on Jane Daniels last year. And what made it worse was, that Hard Knocks episode came out where the dude's son was sitting there saying, "Oh, it's Jaden Daniels. This is a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer." So he passes on him, because dads don't really listen to their kids a whole lot. And yeah, it turned out to be this absolute tragic mistake. I mean, could you imagine if it was completely flipped and the Commanders didn't have Jaden Daniels and the Giants did? The NFC East could look a whole lot different. I
That's a
think they
good
need a
that's a good
quarterback.
perspective. So who are
I'm
they
just not.
taking then?
I'm not sold on Shooter Sanders being the answer, and I'm not sold on other prospects being selectable at number three.
No,
Um,
they're not though. That's the problem. Like these guys are second round people, third round people.
yeah.
And so are you gonna force the issue because you need a quarterback?
No, absolutely not.
There you
I mean,
go.
I wouldn't. I would go with the best player available. And whether at that point in the draft, which I mean, because maybe Travis Hunter falls to three, okay. Maybe Abdul Carter's still available. But honestly, they need offensive line help too. So they'll likely have the first pick at any offensive lineman that's going to be available in the draft, unless something insane happens in the first two picks.
Right.
Um,
So I think the
Will
top O lineman is this guy named Will Campbell,
Campbell.
LSU. So
Yep.
there you go. I mean, dude, here's my thing. You can never draft a guy too high, and you never draft a guy too early. If you draft a guy in the first round and he starts for you for 8+ years, that's all you can ask for. I don't care if he's a Hall of Famer. If you're drafting the first round and find an 8-year plus starter, that's a great damn pick.
Yeah. If you fill a need, a critical need, and they are a starter off the rip for you, that's great. It's when you start reaching and you pick somebody
Yes.
who is a complete bust compared to other people. Like I say it all the time, Paris Campbell. He got picked before Terry McLaurin. Like, look at some of the other receivers that have been taken. New England can't draft a wide receiver to freaking stop a nuclear bomb from going off. You know what I mean? It's one of those things, man.
So
You got to fill what your team needs.
who you taking? Giants. Give me somebody, baby. Who you got?
Yeah, they do have Russell Wilson.
Okay, Dave Russell.
I'm still going QB.
All right, then I'm really going Abdul Carter. It's so embarrassing. We run a podcast. We don't know that Russell Wilson's on the team. Whatever, though.
Well, because I saw it when my ship was underway on April 1st, and I thought that was like a joke going around because we had really shitty internet, and then I admittedly have not been keeping up with it because baseball season's going on.
That's the problem. I know. I gotta check on I'm gonna actually gotta put the Cubs game on.
So, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, so Russell Wilson, oh, they got Jameis Winston back up, and then Tommy DeVito. Yeah, Abdul Carter. If it's Abdul Carter for Travis Hunter, whichever one of those two is available, I think just take that one.
Okay, I agree with that. But what's funny? Now you get to New England. New England is praying that two quarterbacks go off the board because then they're either gonna get Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter to fall to
Yeah.
them. So because that's what they need. They need like either a good edge rusher or they're gonna need a really just star like wide receiver type for Drake May. So I think if they drop to four or um, if both quarterbacks don't go in the top four, they will pick Will Campbell, offensive lineman, even though they would rather have Hunter or Abdul Carter. That's where I got.
I I think they actually go the opposite side of the ball here. I wouldn't be surprised if they go D tackle. Looking at their depth chart right now, they've got Karis Tonga, Eric Johnson second, and Jacqueline Roy as their primary nose tackles. I would like to see them go out and grab Mason Graham. I think he'd be a really good complement to who's that other they got Christian Barrymore. Um, I think he would fit really well. And on top of that, they're talking about trading. They're not talking about. There's been rumors of them potentially trading Keyshawn. I think Keyshawn Boot is his name or Butte, something like that. He's in the third year of his rookie deal. So that's somebody who could go on, on the move for them to either A, trade up or in the first round, or B, trade up in a later round, or just completely trade him and just stockpile picks somewhere else in, third or fourth, something like that. But that's something to look at as the day goes on.
Yeah, Mason
Um,
Graham's a stud. I mean, I'm a Ohio State fan. Mason Graham is a stud. All
yeah,
right, so there you
he's a
go.
good. I'm not. There's certain players from Ohio State I don't like drafting. Quarterback's definitely one of them. I love drafting Ohio State defense for the most
Hmm.
part. We kind of got bit when we drafted Malik Hooker that one year,
Yeah,
but
he actually had a decent career though. He had like a
he's
second
had on.
round
He's gone on to have a good career. He just had the knee injury issues with us, and
with
it's
us.
it
Yeah,
is what it is. That happens.
I mean, drafted Mike Doss. He was pretty good for us. I don't
Yeah.
know if you remember him. I mean, I know we had some other guys come in and play safety, obviously Bob Sanders, but he was pretty good there for a minute. All
hmm
right, moving on to the Jacksonville Jags for me. Give me Mason Graham. That's an easy pick.
Yeah.
For on my world, Mason Graham drops to 5. Boom, take him. Don't even think twice. Run it up.
I think that they have to go offensive line here. They've just gotten hit a lot between people leaving a free agency. Um, it's been a tough go for the Jags. They were 4-13 last year after being heavily considered as the favorite to win the AFC South for, at least a little bit. And then the Texans, you saw them, I think the Vegas odds shifted in favor of the Texans once they signed Stephon Diggs. That
Mhm.
was like the big momentum shift is like, oh wow, they made this, that was a trade or was it a sign? I think it was a trade, right?
They traded him. They traded him. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
so
Bills just did not like him.
yeah, it is what it is. He's got a lot of personality. Um,
Yeah, he does.
I would not be surprised to see Jags go offensive line here. I think because I'm looking, they got Patrick McCarry from Baltimore free agency. That was a big move. That was a big swing for them. So he's filling that right guard spot, but they really need to go either left guard or right tackle.
Well,
Walker Little's playing left tackle for them right now. He's got really promising, upside, but they only have one active left guard on their whole entire roster. It's Ezra Cleveland, not the best, but not that they need that improvement, especially if they're looking at potential playing against the Titans, who are going to be throwing Jeffrey Simmons, Abdul Carter. They still have Bud Dupree on the Titans. I don't even know.
you got Will Campbell alive in your world.
Yeah,
So
I just
there,
I think that they have to go offense here, man. You got to protect. You have to keep Trevor Lawrence
I
up.
think so too. Like you're picking offensive lineman. Like the mock draft I'm looking at has them picking Ashton Genty, number
Oh,
5, and I want to be against that, honestly. But if Will Campbell's there, and you think he's a 10-year tackle, then pick him. Don't even think twice about it.
I
You can
I would
always get a
not.
running back.
I would absolutely not in 1,000 years go Ashton freaking Genty for the Jaguars at number 5. You have Travis Etienne on your roster already, and he's proven that he's a multi-purpose threat out of the backfield. Find somebody in free agency to couple him up with, pair him off, kind of split the snaps a little bit. Honestly, Marlon Mack's not a bad idea for a second string. You know what I
Dude, for
mean?
sure, you can always get a second string running back. Like
Yeah.
100%, you're going offensive line here the best you can. If for me, if Mason Graham's not on the board, but if Mason Graham's on the board, you pick him.
Yeah,
That's like where I
he'd make
live.
that defense really dynamic.
Damn right, dude. Damn right. And then the next 2 rounds, offensive line, you just pound offensive line because you got to figure out is Trevor Lawrence a real deal or not? I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah. I mean,
All right.
on what they've gave him that big extension already. So in your mind, you have your franchise quarterback. You have to protect him. Learn from what the Colts didn't do with Andrew Luck. Protect your quarterback, keep him upright, stop making him get hurt. I mean, he's gotten hurt every single season so far, hasn't he?
Who, Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But he usually does play. He plays hurt though.
He plays hurt,
He
but
doesn't like
you
miss
don't
many
want him to go
games.
through that.
He doesn't. He really doesn't. He's only missed a couple games his whole career. But he's definitely always banged up. It's so hard. I'm doing a podcast, but I'm also watching the Cubs at the same time. 7-6 in the seventh inning. Well, now it's in the eighth inning. Cubs are winning. The game yesterday was unbelievable. I was there, went to extra innings. We came back, beat them. I love beating the Dodgers. All right, from here though, let's jump into essentially team players that we think would be perfect fits for certain teams. I got one for you.
Yeah.
I've already talked about this many times. Jackson Dart to the Steelers. He's big, he's cocky, he's like a freaking linebacker playing quarterback. I think he, to me, is a Steelers quarterback.
Yeah. I would like to see them draft, you know, the future quarterback. Um, Not saying I would like to see them draft like a franchise quarterback. It's not like the Steelers at all. But I think that would be like a smart, like, franchise move. There's a couple guys that could be considered like project guys in this draft that have that ability to, they can become that starter in the next, couple of years or, even next year, give them a year to sit and, but there's the contingency with that. You have to go get Rodgers. Have to.
And I love Riley Leonard from Notre Dame. I think whatever team picks him, give him a couple years. He's such a winner. I mean, I loved what he did with Gruden. I love what he did in the college football playoffs. I feel like he throws the ball better than what he showcased during college football. So I think any team that picks him in the third round, every single team, minus like the top teams with the best quarterbacks, should be looking at Riley Leonard in the third round. That's just another
Yeah.
little side note. And Steelers included, and also the Colts should be looking at Riley Leonard in the third round. I think Riley Leonard is the best quarterback that's not like the first wave of people talked about. And I think he
Yeah.
can have just as good of his career as any of these guys. He's just going to take a couple years on the bench.
I think I mean, another name that's getting overlooked pretty heavily is Kyle McCord.
Yeah, I just don't like Kyle McCord because I didn't like him at Ohio State. But if you don't have that lens, then I could easily see why you like him because he did throw for a lot of yards last year.
I didn't like him at Ohio State either, but he went to Syracuse and performed better at Syracuse,
He
which
did.
is, he went to I would say smaller school, but it's like
Lesser
smaller football
school.
school.
Yeah, smaller. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Less
yeah,
competition though.
less
Uh,
competition for
Less
sure, but also
pressure.
less
No one cares
talent
about
around
Syracuse
him.
football. Syracuse lacrosse, that's big time. Syracuse football, not big time.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right. The pick. This is the pick of the draft.
All right, give it to me.
14. My Indianapolis Colts, our Indianapolis
Yeah,
Colts.
there you go.
If Tyler Warren
Yes, that's it.
is available and the Colts either do their trade back that they normally do or they draft any other player not named Tyler Warren, I'm going to find Chris Ballard's address and I'm going to drive to his house and I'm going to knock on his door until he answers. And I'm like, Chris, what the hell? Because that in my opinion, like there was a oh man, got for the Raiders last year, Brock Bowers, and then Tyler
Yeah,
Warren, like two of the most NFL ready tight end prospects I've seen in probably the last
yeah.
decade and a half, honestly, you could argue. Those two are, dude, he's going to be such a stud. He can do literally everything. He can pass, he can run, he can move, he can block. He can block his ass off. If the Colts have Mo Alley Cox listed as their starting tight end and Tyler Warren is available and they don't draft him, I might have to rescind my fanhood. Like that might be enough to send me over the edge.
You gonna buy a Warren jersey if they draft him?
I'm buying a Warren jersey. I'm buying all of the rookie cards I can to start investing. Dude, I'm all in. If they draft Tyler Warren, I am immediately placing a bet on the Colts to win the AFC South. Book it.
I'll tell
Book
you
it
the
now.
I'll tell you the team I would be worried about drafting him in front, the Bears. I
But
could
they
see.
got I just think they have so
Oh,
many more
wait, do they have
needs.
Cole commit? Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they got Cole
Okay,
Kmet,
so
but they got
no,
other needs too, man. And
never mind.
honestly,
I'm gonna take that back. I think that was a stupid take. I think that was a stupid take. I agree. I don't think they would draft him, but man, that'd be kind of cool if the Bears did draft him though.
yeah, the team that would scare me drafting him is Tyler is is the Dolphins, one pick ahead.
Miami, not is that 9?
Yeah. Well, no, no, Miami's 13. Miami's 13.
Oh, okay.
They terrify me. Them picking
What is
the tight ends in need for them.
I'm trying to read all these like mock drafts while we're doing all this. And Justin James Jaguars. Tyler Warren, one mock draft had him going to the Colts, one mock draft had him going to the Bears, one mock
Hmm.
draft had him going to the New York Jets. I don't think the Jets would draft him.
No, I just think the Jets need so much more in terms of protection than I mean the Jets have a lot of problems though because they had Mekhi Becton and he was always either hurt or underperforming on the field and then he goes to Philly and has a freaking career year. I think they moved him to guard though, so maybe that had something to do with it because I think he was playing tackle with the Jets. So I don't know. The Jets just need a lot more than I think a tight end is kind of one of those luxury positions where
There's a
like it's either a critical need or you have a lot of the other spots already kind of figured out.
there's a few teams that or there's a few mock drafts that have the Tyler Warren going to the Jets.
I'd be so depressed. But
Oh my
I
God, that's gonna be annoying.
yeah, he's just gonna go sit there and rot. He's gonna be like Brock Bowers on the Raiders.
There's another tight end in this draft though that's pretty good. I forget his name, but
Like Loveland.
yeah, he's a less of a blocker.
Yeah, but we need a blocker,
I know.
especially
We
if
need
we're
Tyler
running,
Warren.
especially if we're going to be running a mobile quarterback and Jonathan Taylor out of the backfield. You have to have somebody who can do both. And he can do it all. That dude can do everything on the football field you can ask for somebody.
I got another one good for you.
Yeah,
I want Trayvon Henderson, Ohio State, going to the Chiefs
I could see that being that could happen. I could see that.
because he's probably I mean there's a lot of different running backs, and so a couple of them are probably get drafted in the first round, at least two, right? So
Hmm.
if he falls to the Chiefs, I could see them saying, let's go get a guy who can literally block extremely well in the backfield, run with breakaway speed. When he gets to second level, he is gone, and he also catches the ball very well.
Yeah, he's another one
So
of those guys that has all the traits that you want, like
yeah.
from a prospect to be ready to translate well to the NFL, especially in today's game.
Yeah, and like he blocks like Zeke was an amazing blocker in the
Yeah,
backfield. Like this guy can block. A lot of the Ohio State guys can block, quite frankly, but I those two specifically are elite blockers, and that if you're an offensive coordinator, you love that.
absolutely. I mean, that just makes it more dynamic when you have other people who can do it. This mock draft, this is weird. This mock draft has the Colts drafting Omari and Hampton at 14, running
I
back.
oh yeah, he's I heard was it Mel Kiper talking about him? Apparently he's pretty damn good. But
Who
we
is he?
don't we
What
don't
college do you even go
but we
to?
don't need a running back.
We don't. We
No,
have so many more needs that are. If the Colts drafted running back at 14,
it's pretty simple. We either draft offensive lineman or Tyler Warren. That's it.
yeah, so it's not first round.
That
I
first
would not
round,
be
you're
mad if there's like a very, very high ranked cornerback, on the board still at 14 when the Colts got to pick. I would not be mad if they went and drafted a corner or like, a safety who can play free and strong. Somebody who's like one of those Swiss Army knife kind of like guys in the backfield who can do it all.
I'm at
But
the
I don't know if
point
there's going to be anybody that can do that available at 14.
I'm at the point with the Colts, like I want to know, I just want to see the offense be good and the defense is the worst in the league. I'm fine with it because if the offense isn't good, then we're drafting a quarterback next year.
No, you have to. You have to move.
So
This is Anthony Richardson's year. Have you learned from your mistakes? Have you learned from, what it takes to be a pro? Have you put all that together and are you going to keep on progressing? Or is this just another
it's
year of the same,
dude,
500 and picking 14
dude,
and 15 and
Dude, I got a public service announcement right now. Pico Armstrong will be a top 5 player end of next year, guaranteed. This guy is such a gamer. He's been killing it. Home run yesterday. I think home run today. He just had a giant hit in the eighth inning for the Cubs. His speed, his defense is impeccable. Golly, I love the Cubs. And Pico Armstrong is the dude. I love it. I love his intensity. I love how he shows up in big games, Jake. I am obsessed with guys who can compete at a high level when it matters. Pico Armstrong. Thank God the Mets traded Pico Armstrong to the Cubs. All right, sorry.
Can you imagine if they didn't?
We would be so embarrassing. I wouldn't have one guy to be like, that's my fucking guy. Like, that's my fucking guy.
Kyle
Every night.
Tucker.
Oh, no, yeah, but we just got him.
Yeah.
We just got him. So he's still, I mean, I love Tucker. He hunts at the plate, don't
Ian
get me
Happ.
wrong. I've never been a bit I like Hap, like I'm not like anti-Hap, but he's not like face of the franchise. He's face of the franchise just because he's been here forever. It's not on like his ability to consistently bring winning baseball to the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, I feel that. Nah,
Pico
that's
Armstrong does. Pico Armstrong throws people out from center field. Pico Armstrong chases balls down. He steals bases. He gets hits when it matters. He's literally our Derek Jeter, our young Derek Jeter. That's all I gotta say about that.
all right. PCA. You heard it here
Pico
first.
Armstrong. All right, sorry guys.
Future top five player.
That's what we do. It's all this podcast isn't live, but it's live for what's going on around me. I'm eating
I've heard
pizza,
some
drinking
hot takes.
beer.
That might be one of the hottest ones I've heard today.
I mean, he will be a top five player by the end of next year.
We'll see. I mean, he's definitely got a lot of the tools that you need to, jump in there. You got to throw that in the headline. It's going to be like NFL draft talk and PCA.
I'm gonna cut this and put that in a clip just so everyone knows.
Oh,
Okay.
no, back to the draft. Back to the draft. Seahawks.
Yeah.
So this might be a hot take.
Hit me
Draft a
with it.
wide receiver
Wow.
with
They just got Jackson Smith and Jigma.
that's all they have though.
Because
At
they
this
trade
point,
Metcalf. They trade Metcalf. Yeah.
wait, did they actually trade? Yeah, Metcalf's on. Yeah, he's on Steelers now.
Yeah.
Yep, I do remember that.
So
Yep.
so they yeah
Him,
they actually made that
Metcalf and
person.
Pickens are probably going to fight day one of meeting each other
What
because those are two absolute sociopaths.
what about getting a Ibuka from Ohio State? A Mecca
Yeah,
Ibuka.
I would either say go Abuka if he's available or go that McMillian from Arizona.
Okay.
He's got a lot of really good traits that translate over the NFL as well. So I mean, really, you can't go wrong with either one of those. The only thing about Ohio State wide receivers is there's just so much talent on that team that you
Dude, they're
never
all good,
know.
man. What are you talking about? They're all good. The only guy who didn't who's flopped is Paris Campbell.
You just never know who's going to be the one because like you're game planning to stop X, Y, and Z.
I know, but like what's like if you review like Terry McLaurin, great. Kid from the Jets, great.
Garrett Wilson.
Uh Michael Thomas from back in the day, the first guy to come here and really make a dent in the NFL. Jack Smith and Jigma found his stride late in the season.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison, I think, kind of lost some step in late in the season, but this is rookie year.
No, I think that he
So,
had he had so much hype based on the fact he's A, Marvin Harrison's son.
yeah.
B, he was elite in college,
Oh
in my
God,
opinion at
yeah,
least.
for sure.
So his what people would consider his floor was probably way higher than what it should have been.
Well,
He's a rookie wideout coming in with the shortest quarterback in the league and an offense that's not really geared to, realistically Arizona is not geared to win a game through the air. They're just not. I don't care. Kyler Murray is 5'11.
yeah, I know. I mean, and just going back, I agree. He's got to pick it up though. Sometimes he's kind of lazy on his routes. Olave, Ohio State, solid.
Oh, concussion waiting to happen though. That boy's
Oh, hey, still though. So,
brain soup,
so
man.
why not?
Scary to see.
Why not? It'll be interesting to see the Ravens pick too. I feel like this draft is going to be interesting because it's not super star driven. So this is going to be the draft where great teams make selections and get starters, and bad teams miss across the board.
Yeah, I
So
think if you're the Ravens here, I think you have to go O-line kind of to replace Pat McCarry or whatever his name is, Meraki or Makari.
I got a
That's
guy
going to
for
be a
you.
huge hit. Losing him is going to be a huge hit.
I got a
'Cause
guy
he's
for
been
you.
solid for like 8 years consistently for them.
Watch out for this, guys. Donovan Jackson, Ohio State, went from guard to left tackle last year because of injuries. And he played solid. He can play Maybe not in the NFL, he's not a left tackle, but he can definitely play right tackle and he can definitely play guard. So that's a pick. Watch out for this mock draft I'm looking at has him going to Detroit Lions. That feels like a solid place for him. But I also, once again, I think the Ravens, to Jake's point, that could be a situation for it. If your team and you see Donovan Jackson come across the board, that's a good pick for you.
I got an interesting team.
Versatility.
Super interesting team for you. Super interesting team. I think this is going to be a sneaky team next year, especially if they kill the draft like they did last year. The Denver Broncos. First round, they're sitting at 20. What
Yes.
is your primary position of need for the Broncos?
I think they could go running back.
So, okay, we already have Ashton Genty off the board. This might be a not popular pick. Scatabo.
Dude, dude. Yes. That dude, he feels like tough Colorado.
He's dude, he's just a football player.
Yeah,
He was
look.
literally
Oh my
throwing
gosh.
up in between plays on the
Yeah.
sideline,
You know who would
and
pick
he
him?
still went up
Belichick.
like for 250 all-purpose yards in like in that was it Final Four game?
Yeah, that was one of the most gutsy college football playoff or college football game performances. Slur my words, but I've seen of a player literally dying on the sideline, coming back in the field and acting like nothing happened.
Downright insanity. He was literally putting the team like every single play was going to him, and it was like they couldn't do anything to stop it. I had the Longhorns in that game. I
Oh,
had them winning, and I needed them to win for the last leg of a bet. And at a certain point, I started rooting against them because I was like, I don't really care. Like, they've had their chance multiple times.
right.
I'm rooting for one player now. Dude, I think that, and I admittedly did not watch like hardly any Arizona State football for the entirety of the season because it's Arizona State. Why do I care?
Yeah, no, exactly. Who was it? Who did they was it Penn State? Or is it I gotta look back who they played. It was
In
it
that
Penn State?
game? No, it
Yeah.
was the Longhorns. It was
Oh, it was
Texas.
Texas. Yeah, it was Texas. That's right. Yeah, it was Texas. And I
And
was
Texas was like a minus 520
Dude, I
favorite
was
to win
rooting
that game.
so hard against Texas for that game. Because I was like, this kid deserves another game in his college career.
Absolutely.
But
That was a legendary performance, win or lose.
I doubt Scottaboo goes in the first round.
No, but if he went to the Broncos, that would be interesting because they did trade away Javonte Williams.
What I say earlier in the pod, if you pick a guy who's a starter and a solid player, it doesn't matter where you pick him.
Yep.
What's that guy, Jack Campbell, linebacker, Detroit?
Yep.
Right? They picked him like literally like 15th overall. And all these people, fanboys on Twitter were all making fun of the Lions. That kid's been a solid ass pro.
Yeah.
They picked Jahmyr Gibbs when everybody was making fun of them for picking Jahmyr Gibbs.
And now look, he's part of one of the biggest like powerhouse combo like running back sets in the league.
Dude, he's like very good. So you find a guy you like, you draft him. Because guess what? A lot of these picks are utter misses, man. Half the league undrafted. You just
Yeah, you ain't lying about that.
I mean, literally, like if you like a kid, fucking pick him. You know, simple as that. All right, that's all I got to say about the draft. You got anything else on the draft?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's there's some other interesting, storylines here and there. It's too much to dive into each and every one of them. Like the Bills are I wish the Bills had a better draft position, to be honest, because I feel like they're kind of hitting their ceiling and they really need to kill the draft, but they're in a really shitty pick spot. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple different teams trading up, trying to make a big swing to make that move to take their franchise to the next level.
I know, but who do the Bills
Uh,
need? Do you know what the Bills need is a new head coach.
I
You
don't know if they
can't,
need a new head coach or not.
dude, you can't lose the Chiefs 17 years in a row and keep your job. It's embarrassing. It's low standards. You got a guy, you got you out of the gutter. Go get a guy to get you over the finish line. That's
But
my
they've been
opinion.
losing to Chiefs in ways that the NFL literally like, is amending the rules like season after season
You
because
st
of how they're losing.
I know, but they can't. It doesn't matter. You can't beat him. You can't beat him. I don't care that there's you got the first down. You get the first down. This time there's no overtime. Whatever. It doesn't matter to me. You gotta somehow get it done. The Chiefs get it done. If you can't get it done, get out. When you get to that top tier, I'm preaching, but if you get to that top tier part of the NFL, it is like triple competitive than the bottom tier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to beat Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is so hard. Let me put it this way. Let's say Bo Nix is the truth, right? And you got Denver versus the Bills. I'm spacing. What's Denver's coach's name?
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton, right? Would you take Sean Payton or Sean McDermott? Straight up.
Wait, didn't they just play in this past
Yeah.
playoffs?
Yeah, but like yeah, but Bo Nix's
And
rookie year.
I took McDermott then.
Well, I know, but it's like Bo Nix's rookie year. Like, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
gotta for coaches to like kind of be at that level. Like Josh Allen and Patrick Holmes are both superstars, so it really comes down to coaching, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
that's my point. Where, I
For
don't know.
me, and that's just perspective. You know, that's the beauty of the NFL is different people can see it different ways. I'm literally leaning on the more superior quarterback play, and I think that, Josh Allen's going to give me that in that specific instance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm just mean like there's certain coaches in the NFL that I think are way better than Sean McDermott, and those coaches should be hired at the Bills because that's probably how they would beat the Chiefs.
I mean, that might be what they need to take them to the next level. I don't know. I think they need some better skill players because
Cubs win.
there you go. Is
Cubs
that a
win, baby.
series? Is that a series win over the Dodgers,
That
or
is
is
a
that a
series
sweep?
win over the Dodgers, my friend.
Thank God. We just need like 20 more of those, and I'll have a good MLB season.
I love this because guess what? When we see the Dodgers in the playoffs, everybody's gonna know that we kicked their ass. I know we got our ass kicked in Tokyo, but that doesn't count.
I just watch my team lose a series to a team that doesn't even have a real name anymore. They had to revoke their name to not offend Native Americans. So it's all
It's a
right. We
bad
won
look.
today.
It's a bad look.
Anthony Volpe couldn't get a hit, and I missed my parlay because of it. But it is what it is.
Holy. All right,
It's
let's
only
talk Pacers. Damn, bro. I really like this Pacer team. I always wonder, are they tough enough to win? Because it's so hard to win at the NBA in the NBA playoffs, specifically at least get to the finals. And so we'll see. I think they will beat the Bucks. I think the Bucks are kind of overrated this year. I think Dame's a little bit, you know, step a little bit slower. Could be injury. Giannis just he's great, but I feel like he's gonna leave. So I
I
think
will
this is the
say this.
Pacers
I'm
playing
going to
more
say it
united.
right here. Damian Lillard is a bitch.
I like
That
that.
dude talked so much shit game one to the point where he almost got a
Attack.
foul called on him.
Right.
And he came out, and I don't think he had a single point in the second half of that game until like the last like 4 minutes or something like that. Given it kind of started to spur like a 15-0 Bucks run, but man, if I send you a meme, if I send you a picture of Damian Lillard, just know that it means I'm not showing up because that dude's washed. I know he's coming off an injury, and I know that he's probably struggling to get back into it, but you can't talk shit like that and then just not show up. And I love the fact that you got players openly admitting like, there's no love lost between us. Like it is what it is. We hate each other. I'm like, yeah, bring that energy because that makes the game fun to fucking watch, in my
Dude,
opinion.
yeah, the Bucks like they went back to that playing game last year when like or 2 years ago, whatever, when Giannis like scored his 60th point and they like the Pacers gave the ball to like their was it the rookie's first game and
Yep.
then he's like all pissed and then we beat them last year. So yeah, I think we got their number and I'm not worried about them. I love beating the Bucks and I love playing the Knicks and beating the Knicks. So I hope the Knicks kind of get their head out of their ass and start playing a little bit better basketball. I know they're winning games, but it just seems like Jesus, they could lose to the Pistons. Pistons are young and fresh.
Dude, Cade Cunningham. I mean, Cade Cunningham at the beginning of the season, he literally looked at the stat sheet in the press conference and said, "We are not a 2-16 team." And completely flipped the whole season's narrative around because they were looking like a joke. They were looking like the White Sox. Like, I'll be completely honest, they were looking like the White Sox. How the fuck are the White Sox worse this year statistically than they were last year? How do you take a step back from having the worst season in MLB history?
I have no idea. I had a guest. I had a guy. I got not a fan. I don't have fans, but I had somebody reach out to me. I listened to the show, and he owns a plumbing company in Chicago. It's like Deljo Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. And he was converted from a White Sox to a Cubs fan officially because they're so bad.
it's going to be hard to make money like that. Pretty soon you're going to have to sell the team off, and they're going to be you know, move to damn Madagascar or something, and you're going to have the first Madagascar baseball team.
Dude, when I see a cute girl wearing White Sox stuff, I almost throw up. I can't even handle it, Jake. I'm
That's
like, I like honestly, I'm like, yo, it's like I want to become a therapist and be like, how did you not become a Cubs fan? Like what is
I
the
want to
history?
become a therapist.
Like what is wrong? Like what do we need to do to bring you to the light of Wrigley Field, the greatest place ever? And the Chicago Cubs, the colors are better, everything's better. It's on the north side. You can train to it easily. Wrigleyville, there's nothing over there. There's nothing over there.
That's hilarious.
I have a friend who texts me a bunch of random things, and he just sent me a welcome to the whale trail, and he must be like in Eastern, yeah, I don't know where he's at, but there's like a whale watching thing he's doing. I don't know. Okay, whatever. Shout out you, Tommy. You're an interesting cat.
Shout out to the whale trail.
Yeah, shout out. All right, well, I mean, that's all I got to say. I mean, I kind of hope the Lakers lose.
Oh God, don't get me. Did you see that bullshit last night where LeBron is laying?
I hate LeBron.
And this is y'all's go.
Oh God.
I want you guys to know this. He's laying on the ground, and while he's laying there, he's like lifting his eyes up, see if anybody's looking, and then he covers his eyes. They caught that man in 4K doing that shit.
Dude,
They
he
caught
does
him
that. He does that
like they
all the
caught Shannon
time, dude.
Sharp
Does it all
and
the
Skip
time.
Bayless. Red-handed.
Dude, he
Caught him in
does
the act.
that. Not, dude, there's times where he's like laid on the ground and like some guy was actually hurt. So then like everyone's looking at the actually hurt guy and then he like walks up and goes lays somewhere else like closer to the guy. Like he is an attention whore. It's so
Yeah,
embarrassing. Like oh today I was like on the train coming back from Wrigley and I saw like this Michael Jordan like TikTok montage with Michael Jackson's like Smooth Criminal song. And like Michael Jordan was like such an alpha. Like his
yeah,
moves were just like jumping over you, dunking on you, going around you, and like slamming the ball. And LeBron is just like, eh, eh.
yeah. Honestly, especially after last night's game, like Pacers and Bucks, I think the Giannis is more dominant than LeBron is.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Maybe
LeBron's
that's just
so old. Like he's so old. So I'm not trying to judge him now. I'm mainly judging him
for sure.
like back in the day.
I think that this like his antics of the last like 5 years, because he's been doing this for a freaking long time now, but it's gotten really bad towards the end of his career. Like I think it's kind of tarnished his legacy a little bit, at least in my eyes.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
maybe I'm just because I'm a LeBron hater anyways.
Yeah, I am too. And it's not even the Pacers. I just think he's soft. Like Michael Jordan beat the shit out
Yeah.
of the Pacers, and I like him. Um, yeah, it's just like, oh God. I also think he's made the league worse.
Yeah, absolutely. He's influenced, and everybody calls Steph Curry a negative influence because all these, kids in like junior Pee Wee basketball are shooting up 30-foot threes now, just like it's their day job. But
Yeah.
I think that this is horrendous.
Like,
Seeing all these flops and
yeah,
everybody begging for
he
calls.
is the flop culture. Like he brought in flops to the NBA. Steph brought in shooting, you know, and
Dude, Steph's on my top three all-time list.
I he's not on my top three all-time list, but I do like him a lot. And I don't think there's a basketball player I've enjoyed watching more than Steph because he actually like amazes me sometimes.
Yeah,
Where
I think the only one that would like really come close is like Kobe for me.
Kobe's on, yeah, he's like the artist of the artists, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the ship, out to sea, watching him drop. Was it 60 in his last
60.
game?
Yeah.
That was insane. That was insane.
Shot it 45 times. But you know what he did do is he hit all the buckets down, like down the stretch. He actually made like all the key shots.
It was clutch. Yeah, it was a clutch performance. I had such a good time watching it.
That was one of the funniest games ever because everyone's rooting for them and like nobody on the Lakers was willing to shoot the ball.
Yeah, they were just like throw that.
Yeah,
Throw
and like, you know, Kobe's like Kobe.
it.
You know. Dude, you know what's funny about LeBron fans is they love him. They love
Oh
him
yeah,
like you wouldn't believe. I saw
it's till death with them.
Yeah, I saw Skip Bayless debated like a whole room of them. You see that video?
Yeah, and I will
And
I will never defend Skip Bayless. I hate Skip Bayless.
okay, well I'm
I
just
think
saying
he's
like
the most washed announcer, commentator, sports personality like in the business. Hate Skip Bayless, but that was hilarious.
I saw on TikTok today there was like Skip Bayless's worst takes. And one of them was that Tiago Splitter, who was on the Spurs, was gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Oh. I like all of his videos after the Cowboys lose and he's like throwing his jerseys in the trash.
Yeah,
Like
there's other the
that
Cowboys
Parsons
are a
jersey he's got
joke.
has been through it, man. That thing's been in the trash like six different times.
Dude, the Cowboys are the most joke ass franchise. They are the Browns.
They're the Browns with the higher personality and they're on every single game of the week.
Yeah, they're like the hot girl of the Browns, you know what I mean? Such an
That's
embarrassment. Yeah, they suck. That's why you don't go with average quarterbacks. You know what I
that's
mean?
why.
Like at least the Colts did pick a guy who could be incredible. Now he's not probably going to be incredible, but at least he could be incredible. You either got to have a guy who's incredible or you get a new guy. Because literally having a top 10 quarterback, just you're not going to win. You need a top five guy.
Gotta have it, especially in today's game. You gotta have with the way defensive play is and like you know how fast the defense is now. It's not
Yeah.
you don't have big ass dudes. Who was that Bears linebacker in 2006? Or was it might have been like 2002 actually. You know, he was big, he was slow.
Oh, Urlacher?
Yeah,
Khalil
Urlacher.
Mack? Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah. I
Urlacher.
mean, you line him up in a foot race against the linebacker like in today's like era of the game, it's a blowout.
Yeah.
It's a blowout.
Yeah, dude.
But back then, that dude was the alpha. That was the prototype. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, then you had people like Luke Kuechly who could do both.
God, Luke
He
Kuechly
was,
was legendary.
dude, he was so good.
It's one of the biggest what if stories. You know, him and Andrew Luck. You know, and crazy enough, they're both Stanford players.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So maybe it's that Stanford education, you know, kicking in, telling them like, "Hey, it's time. Call it."
I sometimes think people are too smart to play the sport of football.
Yeah, Andrew Luck is definitely one of them. Did you see the videos of him throwing the ball
I see.
at
Okay, I
at
saw
Stanford
him.
practice the other
I
day?
saw him handing the ball off. Did he actually throw it?
Yeah, I saw a video of him throwing.
Did he look good? Did it still spin?
I mean, it was just tossing the football, you know,
Tossing
just
football.
like tossing the football with your buddies. He wasn't
Okay.
like, you know, doing three-step dropbacks or anything, but
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he was pretty damn. He was a fun guy to root for. He
yeah,
was
it
tough.
was
He was tough and good.
legendary.
All right, man. You got anything else for us?
No, that's pretty much it, man. Go Pacers, go Yankees, go Colts in the draft, I
Yeah,
guess.
I feel the same way. Take out the Yankees,
Come
add
on,
the Cubs.
Ballard. Please don't make it done. If the Colts trade back in the first round, text me and check on me. If you're my friend, if you're on Facebook with me, if we've met at the gym, if you go to work with me, whatever it is, if you see the Colts have traded back in the draft, just fucking text me.
Jake, about 2 or 3 years ago, ran a very, very popular Colts Facebook fan page, and it was mainly him ranting about coaching and decisions. So he has a lot of different people that reach out to him still from that.
Yeah. That was the year Frank Reich got fired. That
Yes.
I went through it mentally so bad that I had to start a page to rant about how bad the Colts were. And you know, the big bulk of the following came from me commenting on like the Colts actual media page. I'd be like, oh, okay, let me hop on this and see what's up. And you know, one thing led to another, and it got, you know, decently large. But yeah, dude, fucking Colts football,
All
man.
right, how about this? If they move back or draft someone ridiculous, then we'll do an emergency podcast and just complain.
Have to do an emergency podcast. It's Ashley's birthday, but we'll do an emergency podcast. We'll be all right.
Sounds good. All right, thanks, brother.
All right,
Thanks,
brother.
everybody. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, tell your friend to tell a friend, tell your friend's friend to tell their grandma.
There it is. All right, see you guys.